That is really, you make a really good point. That is very hard to do. And the reason why is because our brain is processing so much information that's coming at us. So it makes these quick judgments about people. As soon as we see somebody, our brain is firing off all these assumptions about that person. And so we're kind of on autopilot. It's much easier to be on autopilot. I mean, think about like brushing your teeth, right? Brushing your teeth. Think about how annoying would it be if you had to sit there and think about, okay, I've got to brush this one, I got to brush this one, I got to brush this one, I got to brush this one. If you stop and thought about all the different teeth you have to brush every single day, it would be annoying, it'd be frustrating, right? So we go on autopilot, we brush now, we don't even think about the fact that we're doing it. Same thing when you think about conscious bias and unconscious bias. If you think about it, really, it's a matter of speed. So when we're consciously aware and we're being more proactive in how we're reacting to people, we slow down our thinking. So we're mitigating our unconscious bias by simply just pausing and giving ourselves an opportunity. So when you're in a situation, right, and I talk about this in my workshops a lot, is when you're in a situation and you see somebody, like let's say you're walking down the street, and you see somebody walking down the street, and all of a sudden you have a really strong, and it could be either a positive reaction for that person or a negative reaction. Remember, unconscious biases can be both positive and negative. They're not always negative. I think a lot of people think, oh, it's always negative, and that's just not true. It could be positive as well, right? So when you're in that moment and you see somebody and you realize that you have this really negative reaction towards them, that's when you want to practice your hat right away. Hold off, right? You want to catch yourself and say, wait a second, I don't even know this person. Why am I making all these assumptions about this person I don't even know, right? And so it's consciously recognizing that you're making these automatic preconceived assumptions about this person. And as you keep doing this, as you keep applying that hat approach, it gets easier and easier to put yourself on that pause. Yeah. Right now, I hear something in my head and I'm able to stop and say, whoa, you're doing it. Stop. Check that bias. You're doing it. And you're able to pick up on it. As soon as you get aware that you're doing it, you'll be able to catch yourself more. And that way, when you're in these situations where you're making a decision, like let's say you're at work and you're making a decision to hire and you have some kind of bias, you can say, wait a second, make sure I check that bias at the door and make this decision, not because of some preconceived notion, but because this person is truly qualified. They have the skills and the experience to be in this position, right? So it is tough, but it is doable.
Beautiful.